everybody, and welcome to the next to the last day in the Arctic Reptile Ranch. We're standing in my garage because everybody has asked, how are you getting all of your reptiles or all of your tortoises from Alaska to Arizona? Well, over here is my old ATV trailer that I've boxed in and made it taller and solid so that I can put all of my enclosures inside of here. I have to do some carpentry in there to take some things apart, but they're all meant to go back together. So all the enclosures are going to fit in here. Now, the tortoises themselves aren't going to ride in here. They're going to be riding in the cab of my truck. A lot of them are going to be in these containers over here. The ones that'll fit will be in these. And you can see I've already put dirt in here. I've been letting it sit for a few days so that it's not too moist. It has some humidity to it, but it's more dry than moist for them because I don't want them, if the temperatures don't hold at some point, I don't want them being cold and wet. But you can see I've got stuff big enough for my redfoots, for the star tortoises, and I've even got stuff meant just for the baby tortoises. And all of these will be sitting in this bottom container back here. All the gray containers will be sitting in here. All the clear containers are going to go in this side. This container is only for the galops. One will go in each side. You can see there's holes drilled in this board here and a big open space. The open space is to put heat packs in there in case the heat tape I have here doesn't stay warm enough. And there's going to be points during the journey when I don't actually have access to electricity, so heat packs are going to keep everybody warm. And I have experimented over the last month, and I know that I need 8 to 10 heat packs to keep this at the temperature that they need to be. In this one over here is where Titan the radiated tortoise is going. He's going to be on this side, and then all those other small ones, the clear ones, will stack up over there and in here. And again, holes so that heat can transfer, and the heat packs will go in here. Now there are holes drilled in everything. There's small holes which will allow for air to flow through, but I shouldn't lose a lot of heat with the holes that I have in here. I mentioned the heat tape. All of these are fitted with heat tape on the side, and that's going to just basically create a warm wall that will radiate heat into here and keep everybody basically warm. I'll be using the same thermostats that I use on all my other enclosures right here. And while I'm driving, in order to power this, I've got a 200 watt inverter. The amount of heat tape I'm using is only 120 watts, so I've got more than adequate power to keep everybody warm for the entire drive. Before anybody goes into their transport cages, we've got to go in there and start tearing down cages, and the first step in that is removing a lot of dirt. I mean, a lot of dirt. Come with me and you'll see the next step in moving a lot of tortoises, moving 2 dozen tortoises 3,000 miles. Now that you've all seen how I'm going to transport the tortoises, let's take a look at another aspect of moving such a massive collection 3,000 miles. There is a lot of substrate in most of my enclosures. The Galapagos enclosures are clearly the largest ones. I'm not even sure how many pounds of dirt are in here because it's a combination, as you know if you've watched my other videos, of topsoil, cocoa coir fiber, and peat moss, and some chips mixed into it. And I'm going to weigh 1 bucket of it and then keep track of how many buckets I take out of here. So I've got some engineering or some design aspects that are going to work in my favor. I have this layered down. I've got a bottom layer of clay pebbles, which I'm going to keep. I've got some bins for those to go in, but I'm going to keep as much as I can. And there's a barrier between the two, and then there's dirt on top. But on top of the dirt is turf. So all I have to do is lift this up to get to the dirt underneath and start extracting it. And what I'm going to do until the day I move, which is in actually 2 days from now, so I'm really gotta get down to business here, I'm going to put the turf back down. So the tortoises come out, they're not going to know the difference. And if he does come out, I've got this bin right here because I've already done one enclosure. I've done my radiated tortoises enclosure, and he was just the biggest pain in the butt. He wanted to come over, touch my fingers, see what I was doing, and anytime I tried to move the turf back to get to the dirt, he was just all over it and just exploring. It got to the point where I couldn't work with him in there the whole time, so If I happen to wake him up, we're going to put him in this for the time being for about, an hour. It's not going to hurt him. And we'll see how much dirt I pull out of here. So without further ado, let me get started digging. In addition to digging out and weighing the dirt, you'll notice that I'm also pulling out pieces of sod. I didn't bother weighing the sod, but there are 2 full rolls that are 2 feet by 5 feet in this enclosure, and each of those rolls weighs about 45 pounds. In addition to the dirt that I weigh throughout this video, these rolls of sod put together weigh about 90 pounds, and underneath there's about 50 pounds of the clay pebbles. As we move through this portion of the video, you'll notice that some of these weights are coming up kind of fast. I apologize for that, but at the very end, which is the most important weight, you'll see how much of the substrate was actually in this particular enclosure. Although you're seeing the time-lapsed and edited version of this process, I recorded over 2.5 hours of footage while digging out this substrate and dumping it out back. And there we have it, last bucket, 217.9 pounds of substrate. When you add in the sod and the clay pebbles, that comes out to 358 pounds that I moved that night. Our first look on the boat is the room. There's a sofa bed right there and then a pair of bunk beds. I initially opted for the top bunk because why not, that might be fun, but it wasn't. And any minute now we're going to hear them come over the speaker to let us know that there's a pet call. That's when everybody with pets gets to go down 2 floors to where the vehicles are parked on the ferry, and we'll go take care of the dog and see how the tortoises are doing. I'll take their temperatures, make sure the heat is in the upper 70s, low 80s, and we'll just get on with our day after that. And we'll have 2 to 3 more times down at the deck to look after our animals. All right, welcome to the bottom of the ship, and this is where all the cars are and where our vehicles are. So you can see it's really tight quarters to get to my car, but we're gonna head up here and start to feed the dog. And then check on tortoises. Wish I hadn't eaten that omelet this morning. Because here's the doggy. All right, time to take care of the dog and check on the tortoises. This is the exercise area. You can see you take your dogs, walk them around here. They like to sniff around and they'll use the facilities where they have to, but you have to clean up after yourself and your pets. Well, not after yourself, you gotta clean up after your pets. Hey, come on, hey, get out of there. So it's an okay area for exercising them. It's only a couple days, so it's not that bad. As you can see, I've got power in here, and I'm able to run it over to here. Right now, I've got these guys at 79.8, it's almost 80 degrees. It fluctuates between 83 degrees and 79 degrees, just like their nighttime temperature boxes. And they all appear to just be kind of hanging out and chilling in their boxes. I guess the dark warmth just makes them feel like it's nighttime constantly. And I've got to let you guys go so I can check on these guys, because we only get 15 minutes down here and I'm down to about 4 minutes. There are slightly longer periods of time, like when we're in port, we might have a couple hours down here, but for the most part I got to do everything I need to do, feed the dog, walk the dog, check on the tortoises, make sure the heat is good in 15 minutes. And next we're gonna go upstairs and look around upstairs a little bit in case anybody's curious what a giant ferry in Alaska looks like. See you guys in a few. There's a lot more to this boat than just the car deck where all the critters are at right now. There's also this forward observation deck. And this is where you come just to hang out. And if you look out at the window, you'll see there's a lot of movement out there. The seas aren't that bad, but it's not dry land. In between pet calls, which is what my world revolves around here on the boat, there's a cafeteria where you can get food. I've already eaten my burger. I got a nice thing of clam chowder, super thick, a lot of meat, it's great. But this is a pretty nice place. They've got really cool tables with various Alaska-based critters on them, gorgeous murals on the wall, and a view out the window that you just can't beat. $10 million view. And that, guys, is how you move 2 dozen tortoises 3,263 miles from Alaska to Arizona.